Greetings, friends. Welcome back to ArcNeo Reviews, where today we're going to take a look at the RK2020. And holy cow, is this thing incredible. Now, this thing is kind of similar to the BitBoy, so I am going to do a video just comparing the two as well. But what this thing can do is absolutely insane. On the side here, you can see, for retro games, headphone jack, built-in speaker, IPS screen, brightness volume adjustment, all the usual stuff. Type-C USB, which is really awesome, actually. So, really quick, we'll go ahead. Here is the device itself. This one is the clear purple version. It does come in either a clear purple or a kind of smoky clear color, as well as if you want to pay a little extra, they actually make this thing in an aluminum casing, which is awesome. But before we look at this thing, too in depth, really quick, it does also come with a short USB-C charging cable, which is pretty handy. I don't have a lot of USB-C stuff as of yet, and it comes with basically the exact same micro SD card reader as the BitBoy had, just in black this time. And while I haven't put it on, there is also a rubber nib you can put on the end of the joystick here. I have opted not to, but you do get this if you want it. But yeah, device itself, holy cow, this thing's great. Normal buttons up here, really good feeling D-pad, little joystick, works pretty well. Start and select down here. On the bottom, you've got your micro SD card slot. You've got your single speaker. For something that is a mono output, I appreciate that they didn't try to make it look like it has two speakers. On top here, you've got your USB-C charging port, your headphone jack, your power button, your 4 shoulder buttons, and just a normal USB adapter. On the back, you've got your little labels. It says TV here. I think this thing, at least in some firmware versions or something, can support TV out. As much as this thing does, I haven't really had time to mess with that, as well as I don't have any way to, while I do have a new capture card finally, I don't have a way to capture, the composite output this thing would be using. Or not even composite, component. But, yeah. So, a couple things to know about this thing before we get in. You can actually plug in a USB keyboard up here, or a USB Wi-Fi adapter. It can just go on and download updates for itself, or download new themes and stuff, which is really awesome. As well as, if you go through a certain naming convention, you can find all the details of this on their site, other videos people have made. You can actually just put your games on this, plug it in, and then run an app that's already built onto this, and it will actually copy the games from your little thumbstick to its own SD card. So, as usual with these things, there is a little bit of a high entry point. This thing is actually just straight up running a version of Linux. So it is preferable if you know a little bit about Linux before you use this thing. To copy ROMs to the SD card even, you will need some kind of program to either translate between Linux and Windows, or just straight up have a Linux virtual machine. That is a thing that is built into modern Windows, so it's there. Again, look up a video on it if you're interested. But for now, you gotta go ahead, cut the light, and turn on the device. Does have a little bit of a startup time here. Once it's up, this thing is nothing shy of incredible. As you can see, it does have like an actual on-screen display for when you're changing the volume and stuff. As usual with these, that is done via button combination. I'm not here to go into the super technical nitty-gritty of this thing. There's plenty of people who have already done that. I'm just here to talk about the fact how cool it is if for less than $100 you can get a portable game system that will play Dreamcast games. Now, worth knowing, this thing has a little bit of a weird screen resolution. So you're not going to get these games in like perfect resolution as I attempt to lock my camera's focus in to get this to look somewhat decent. Sound can be a little crunchy as well, but also defaulted to Japanese on me apparently. I hit the wrong button. Okay. Oh. And that's the only menu theme I've got. Okay. Go ahead and just skip the cutscenes here. I'll let you guys get to the part you actually care about. We have functional, working Sonic Adventure 2 on a small, portable system. I'm not very good at it, especially the Dreamcast version, since I mostly play the GameCube version, but the fact they managed this, and pretty well, is incredible. Like I said, it is missing a little bit of the picture quality, just due to the resolution of the physical screen itself. And it's still infinitely harder to play a game on a viewfinder than it is in by actually looking at the game. But so there's that. Go ahead and quit out. You do that by hitting start and select at the same time. What's really cool about this thing is actually the list of systems I'm going by here are based on what is actually on the device. This thing has like 50 emulators on it, I think, but only the emulators that you've actually put on games for show up in the list. And worth noting, it plays Neo Geo Pocket. You can actually play Sonic the Hedgehog Pocket Adventure on here. If I can remember, you can do save states and load states. You can do fast forwarding if you need to. These button combos are the same for basically every system this thing plays. Because unlike the BitBoy that's running a lot of individual emulators, this is basically just running one giant emulator, operating system. Again, it's running a version of Linux. So, nothing too much to show off here other than the fact it actually has an emulator for the Neo Geo Pocket, which is really rare. I'm actually shocked there wasn't an emulator for that on the BitBoy. It also does Nintendo 64. They can be a little crunchy, like the other systems can. You know, this is 3D. But what's actually the most impressive, it does PSP games very, very well. Let's fire up, frankly, my favorite PSP game ever made, Dracula X Chronicles. See if I can lock in this focus while it's actually working well. Oh, I always forget. When you're on PSP, it does leave the game just by pressing select. That is potentially an issue depending on the game you're playing. There is controller remapping if you need. But I just haven't really gotten that working well yet. Again, these things all have, you know, stuff you have to mess with if you're going to play them. PlayStation as well works on here fantastically. So again, to show it off, I will pick one of my favorite games on the system. Also, for anyone who doesn't know, this game has the single greatest cheat code ever. You unlock everything by entering Max Sarpoo. But let's go ahead, pick Chalk Canyon, the amateur car. Load times on this are great since, you know, it's not having to actually spin up a disc. A little bit of crunchy audio, but nothing bad. This game did have pretty crunchy audio, you know, for real anyway. I am not very good at this game, but ever since I was a kid, it was still one of my favorites just because it is so much fun. Here, let's just drive in reverse. Okay, we're driving forward again. Also, whoever owns the rights for getting, you know, remasters of all these classic games, can we have a remaster of the Destruction Derby series? Like, come on. Yeah. Okay, take that jump bad. Very vocal announcer on that game. But yeah, what this thing can do is awesome. It does have support for Scum Virtual Machine. I don't have anything set up on that yet. It's got whatever this is as well. Again, I don't have anything set up. But these two appear automatically because there are some built-in, like, scanning apps for them. But it plays Sega 32X, Sega CD. For this, you will have to go grab System BIOS. This thing is very picky on which version of the BIOS you give it, so be warned about that. In here, you've got your little scripts. There is a Nintendo DS Emulator on here, of all things, that it doesn't come pre-installed, but it comes with the installer for it. As well as here is where you have your little copy your games off thing you can do here. And here it's gonna say, yeah, it's like there's nothing I can do there. But it plays Super Nintendo. It plays Vectrex. For anyone who knows what a Vectrex even is, short version, the Vectrex is basically my golden ticket thing I would love to own someday. I teleported right into him. I said I want to have a Vectrex. I didn't say I was good at a Vectrex. Hey. Okay, there's the shoot button, finally. So, there's that. Yeah, this thing is genuinely amazing. It does so many different systems on it. It does them really, really well. Just, again, with all these things, you're gonna have a bit of an entry point, with setting them up. That's just kind of the nature of emulation. I would actually say a BitBoy is probably easier for newcomers, so to speak, since if you don't upgrade the firmware that comes on it, for the most part, it is just drag and drop and go. But if you're willing to put in a little time and you're willing to fuss with Linux, this thing is just insane. So, thank you guys for watching. Again, I know this isn't comprehensive. This is just kind of my ramblings and findings in the time I've had this thing. But, yeah, there's plenty of people way smarter than me, way more versed in the actual workings of these things who've done videos. Go check those out if you want. I'm pretty sure the Retro Future's done a video on this. But, go check those out if you want more nitty-gritty, in-depth stuff. This is just me talking about what I've, found in the thing and if I like it or not. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.